Good morning, everyone. Kris here with Inspired Energy, joining me again, Hartwell, for our 100th episode this morning. Good morning, Hartwell.
Good morning, Kris. Good morning, everyone. Yeah,
Yes,
just think of that.
yeah, we've
How
done this
time
100
flies.
times. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to switch it up a little bit this morning, and one of the subjects that we put out there was revolutionizing the workplace. Our topic today has to do with mostly workplace or business, but I was contemplating this and said, well, this isn't just for business. It can apply to like project teams or, any kind of group, um, kind of facilitated environment, right? That you wanted to have a cohesive group work together. So, can you tell us what you've been up to, Mr. Hartwell, when it comes to this?
Yes, I've always been intrigued by the idea of working with groups. And so um, the human design world has a separate institute. They call it the BG5 Institute, which has to do with a particular teaching around working in groups of five. But I've begun to take their training, um, and it's all about the uses of human design as applied to the workplace. And so this last half year, I've been diving into that
Hmm.
and learning some very interesting things. And
Hmm.
it's finally fueling my excitement around the application of human design to communities and groups.
Hmm. So, can you tell us some examples and share some thoughts on the effects of the use of this information and fueling your groups?
Well, I'll give you any. I mean, some of it, you and I talk about language a lot because it's
Hmm.
one of my favorite things. And I'm not sure if you would say it is for you, but I feel, when we shift language, we shift our view of the world. So being very aware of our language can be a very important thing. In human design terms, and this was backed by Ra, the founder of human design before he died. This, I think, was spearheaded by him. He envisioned a world where, the workplace would take on the benefits and value of human design. And so they've shifted some of the language. I'll give you an example. So, for instance, and we've talked about on this show, we have the four types, which are generators, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors.
Right.
Now, when we shift that, the generators, who are the ones who are meant to be working in the world, who are powered by the sacral energy and fueled by that to generate possibilities in life, they're called the
Hmm.
builders. Okay. And
Hmm.
the projectors, who very much oversee things, they're about efficiency, they're about observation, they're about guidance. In the business language, they're called advisors.
Hmm.
Now, and the manifestors, who initiate things, who get things going, who are gifted by life to have these impulses that ripple out to affect all of our lives.
Hmm.
In human design, they're manifestors, but in BG5 business language, they are initiators.
Interesting.
Yes, and the shamans of the world, the ones that who can sense the health of human communities,
Hmm.
these are reflectors in human design language and evaluators
Hmm.
in in business language.
So, in the business language, I noticed, like in human design, there's a manifesting generator. Do they have a category for that in the BG2?
They would call it express builder.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Builders and express builders. And so when you look at it that way, it creates a very powerful shift. And
Mm-hmm.
these are very these are words that evoke their meaning, kind of thing. If you
Mm-hmm.
see yourself as a builder, that has a it has a very strong and specific sort of feeling to it. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the language that has been reshaped, and I think in some ways works better. It's
Mm-hmm.
like knowing me and my synthesizing sort of frame of mind, I'll probably marry them and decide which I want to use more. But
Mm-hmm.
it's useful to have that fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only a small sample. I mean, think of it for yourself. If you already know your type, those of you
Mm-hmm.
listening, you know, um, does it feel differently to see yourself as a builder as opposed to a generator, for instance?
Mm-hmm.
What shift does that make in you?
Mm-hmm.
So, but where we are going, the thing that's exciting about this, for those of you know the excitement of for those of you who know the excitement of thinking of human design and its implications for yourself, let's extend that into a sense of talking a little bit about its power or potential power in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance,
So what are some of the implications that are coming to light? So putting the application in practice for the workplace.
um, yeah, it's early times yet, and I don't think the potential it's nowhere near
Mm-hmm.
fully realized yet. But
Mm-hmm.
think of the power that different, what do they call them?
HR
In
managers,
in recent decades, it's become very
human resources.
human resources have really started to use tools. The
Mm-hmm.
Myers-Briggs type indicator is one of the most common,
Mm-hmm.
and that's widely used in the workplace. I have heard and know of a lot of different places that also use the Enneagram, which is big in some Christian churches for understanding different people and their different needs. There's other systems like that talk to you about your color, for instance, and that there's different meanings of the different colors, and it helps people see. So this is very much human design is very much in the vein of those things, and yet it's far more specific and far more powerful than any of those
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much detail to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, think about it in terms of hiring the right employees. As another potential tool for people who are interviewing for particular positions.
You'd be
You
able
know,
to match them up with their job much better. So if you're looking at somebody, if you want things done or you want to build something, then you'd want a generator in that position as opposed to a projector, right? But if you need
yes,
somebody to analyze things and look at things, then you're going to pick somebody probably who's a projector who, analyzes and picks things apart, right? And
right,
do that.
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And this way you can maximize your human resources. You're less likely to have people being burnt out or not functioning successfully.
Well,
So a lot of costs to business of employee discontent would be lessened.
Well,
For
from a
instance.
business manager point of view, though, um, hiring is one of the most expensive things that we can do. So
Mm,
when we are looking to hire somebody for a position, you want somebody that's going to be in that position and is going to stay because you have to, hire them, then they train them, and there's always costs up front usually with that. And so then you have the employee satisfaction. So if you hire somebody for the right position, then they're going to be more satisfied and they're more likely to stay, and then you don't have the turnover and those kinds of things. So yeah, definitely I could see that being an advantage.
And you would understand which, what supplementary training would be right for them and what would be not.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Hmm.
um, so a lot of our unhappiness in life is that we're in environments that are not suited to us. And
Yeah.
human design says a great deal about
Yeah.
what is your correct environment.
Even
You
promotions, Hartwell, because what happens in the environment is somebody is so capable in a certain position, and you think, oh, I'm going to promote them to supervisor because they know that position. But they may not have those kinds of skills, and it may not be within their type to even, be in that kind of position. So you'd want to look at those kinds of things. So that's really a good
Very much
deal.
so.
Hmm.
And I mean, the true value would begin to be revealed about different people. Because I
Hmm.
mean, typically builders, generators, um, in a workplace environment are going to get more attention because they have the ability to work hard. That's
Hmm.
what they're designed to do.
Hmm.
But the true value of other types would begin to be noticed more.
Hmm.
Like the true value of a projector would begin to be revealed, um, with the use of human design, so that we would begin to it would have the effect of diversifying and
Hmm.
causing helping us appreciate diversity a lot better.
Hmm.
Diversity of design,
Hmm.
along with all the other forms of diversity we've learned to come, we've started to appreciate.
Yeah. And something else that comes to mind is when you're building like a project team. So you have a business and you want a specific something built, then, you could build a team using human design that would work well together versus putting one together just by, picking people, right? So this would
Right.
be good. Yeah.
So you could build supercharged teams of people that were, I'm not sure if this is a loaded word or not, but engineered to
Yeah.
be successful.
Mhm.
You now with human design, we have more of the tools and understanding necessary to engineer successful human teams that will access the potential of all the members.
Mhm.
And that's extraordinarily exciting. Or think about creative ensembles like dance troupes, say,
Mhm.
or a singing group, perhaps.
Mhm.
You know, there are astrology has known this for a while, but some of the, you can clearly see things like, say, in Fleetwood Mac or the Beatles. That part of the reason they were so successful is because the unusual chemistry between them, which could be seen through the art of astrology or human design.
Right. Mhm. Beautiful.
So,
So,
I mean, it's so exciting.
because you could do that intentionally instead of people just being drawn together. There would be an intentionality behind it where you could, like you said, a loaded word, engineer the dream team is the word that
Yeah,
comes to me, like the ultimate, right? Mhm.
right. And I mean, these are early days of applying human design to the
Mhm.
workplace. I mean,
Mhm.
there's much to be discovered. I mean, I don't think we have all the answers, and we would have to play with it because we have new tools, and we'd
Mhm.
have to figure what works, what doesn't work. But the thing is, it's going to, like any tool that is new, it's going to take some finessing and some figuring out.
Mhm.
But the thing is, now you have a tool and you have some basic concepts,
Mhm.
and I think the potential is astronomical.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
it's quite amazing. So, we're getting close to that time. Is there anything that you want to say anymore? Like you've got quite a bit here on the list. I think we've touched on a lot of it, but is there anything else you want to tell us about the BG5? and the training that you've done and the services that you can offer and provide to people through that.
Well, I mean, there's much more to be said, and we'll continue to have these talks.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I would say today is that, um, one of the basic things human design says is you have no choice. You are unique. You have no choice. So love yourself. And if we extend that now, if we learn to love ourselves and follow our decision-making strategies,
Mm-hmm.
then we uplift our own lives, but then we become able to interact in the world in ways that we couldn't have imagined before. Some
Mm-hmm.
of the peace, some of the harmony, some of the augmentation that could arise from human cooperation
Mm-hmm.
and co-creation become possible now. The
Mm-hmm.
dream is the dream. There's the the dream.
Bubble bubble.
Having that dream actually come into being becomes much more likely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I started out in this life, early on, in my with this very powerful, almost mystical experience I had about working in groups, and
Mm-hmm.
how it's just like if you are a cell, maybe you're a cell in the heart, maybe you're a cell in the brain, maybe you're a cell in the kidneys. If we use that metaphor, we now, yeah, we now have. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. This is the dawning of our ability to work effectively in groups and co-create a better world in a
Mm-hmm.
more powerful and effective way.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
beautiful.
and as I go forward, you know, um, I'm looking for opportunities to help other people, come together in groups. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, I've always been fascinated by intentional communities,
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of um, co-housing and eco-villages and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Right.
So there's a lot of people within the conscious creation community who seek to know how to collaborate, and I think
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the exciting uses.
Amazing. So, one of the things that we're going to announce today is that Hartwell's actually going to be teaching a human design course in the fall starting. So, maybe you want to
Yes.
tell people a little bit about that and um, let them know what's going on.
um, we're going to have fun together exploring human design. We're going to be looking at the basics. There are a great many things to be said. Um, in the official human design world, a course has been created called the Living Your Design course. Um, I encourage anybody who's interested to take such courses. Since that is such a staple of the human design community, I'm not going to be recreating that. I'm going to be doing a Hartwell version, for people who want to start making use of human design in their lives, especially to improve their own and to help them understand, the people in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly that we will be starting with some of the basics,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it'll be geared towards, how do we make this practical?
How do you utilize it? Yeah.
How do we utilize it in our
Mm-hmm.
lives?
Exactly.
And
And I believe you wanted for the 100th episode, you wanted to extend uh, a discount offer to anybody who is part of this group and watching who would like to take your course and learn how to utilize this valuable information of human design. So I'll let you tell people what they can look forward to.
yeah, I mean, if you contact Clair-i-tea as a result of watching this, just mention this, then we'll offer you a 10% discount when the course begins in October. So it'd be kind of like an early bird thing. I mean, not just people watching this forecast. Probably we might extend it for We haven't worked out the details,
Yeah, but for sure,
um,
people watching, we wanted to make sure that you were given the opportunity because you've been here with us to get the discount. So,
yes.
yeah.
And I mean, if you're pumped about learning more and you like my style, and remember, human design says you need to pick your teacher.
Hmm.
As a human design, as somebody who's studying human design, this is talked a lot about in the human design world. Are you called to do it? If you're a generator, do you respond to me specifically as a teacher?
Hmm.
If you don't, then look for a teacher that you do respond to if you have that.
Hmm.
But hopefully, some of you who have been watching us do respond well to me, and I would love to have you join us for that ride.
Hmm. Well,
And I
thank you.
mean, talk to other people about it.
Hmm.
If other people hear through you, within, I don't know, we haven't made a cutoff yet,
Hmm.
but network. If
Hmm.
they're if you got a friend or something and I heard it from so and so who was watching your show, then
Hmm.
we can
All right.
extend that. Um,
Beautiful. So,
Kris, you're my administrative help and help in
yeah,
so other many ways.
yeah.
So you got
Yeah,
to help
well,
me put
we'll work
parameters
out
on that.
all the rest of the details, but I just wanted to let you guys know that we were offering a 10% discount on the class. So watch for the upcoming announcements about prices and dates, and just apply a 10% discount to that, and that's what we're offering you. So with that, we once again thank you for joining us today and learning that there's even more to human design than before. So, with that, we'll say good night. God bless. I mean, good morning. Sorry, I'm already going back to bed. But yeah, so have a wonderful day. God bless, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.